Hey guys, welcome to part 6, which we're going to be talking about time frames. I get a lot of questions about what time frames I trade on, how do I use time frames, where do I do, analysis on what specific time frame. And I'm going to just give you an idea first about sort of what I do and what's working for me, right? So what typically I like to do, I'll give you an example on Tesla. Um, First of all, I always try to zoom out, right? I like to see what's going on Tesla. I like to see the overall structure from the last lows. Okay, so this is essentially the last lows here, right? And I can see that potentially, right, this could have been a wave one, right? We have a wave two because it retraced pretty deep. Remember, 618. This could be a wave three. We could be working on a wave four. And then we have one more structure on wave five. Okay, and how I'm going to try to basically look at it from this angle is I'm going to take the retracement, right? I want to see where wave 2 landed. The wave 2 landed right. Perfect, 786. Remember I told you guys, always buy within the 618, 786, right? Put a stop loss under 786 or 0.88 if you're more conservative. And you're riding this all the way to the 0.618 extension level. So we're going to take wave 1, the height of wave 1, we're going to apply it to wave 2. And look at that, guys. I mean, you can't get more textbook than that. We're at the 1.618. People sold right there. I mean, that's beautiful. That's a wave three, right? Now we're retracing for a wave four. Okay. Now typically wave fours, because on wave two this retraced pretty deep to 786. I'd like Tesla to actually hold, the 0.236 level. Where's the 0.236 level? Here, right? You could take a look. I wanted to hold this 0.23, but we couldn't. And it was supposed to actually hold there, okay? But we couldn't. And now we're sort of in this limbo stage. And I do believe possibly we could get down to the 382 here, right? Moving forward. Okay, so notice what I'm doing, guys. Notice that I am doing analysis on the large time frame. And then I'd like to go deeper and deeper towards the smaller time frames, all right, on the specific trades I want to take. So now that I have a bigger picture, I can say, okay, look, I have a bigger picture. I want to dive deeper into maybe, sort of this structure here. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to dive deeper into that structure. Okay, now that we have an idea, I'm going to keep the support level here. This is the 382 level, right? So we're going to go deeper a little bit, even to maybe the 1 hour. Okay, now we can see the individual waves. So for Tesla on the 1 hour, you can see, guys, we have a wave A, B. It was supposed to stop here. Remember I mentioned it was supposed to stop there on the 236 level, right? But it didn't, right? And if you take a look, the height of wave A, I mentioned, you project that out to the height of wave B. Okay, it should have, yeah, I guess it should have stopped around this level here, guys. It should have stopped around this level. Okay, because that should have been a 1-to-1, A, B, C, and then we could have bursted from here like this. Okay, but it didn't. We're actually retracing a bit deeper now, and we're getting to a wave C. Right, so within that wave C, if you take a look, now I like to go a bit deeper, right? A bit deeper, maybe to the 15-minute chart. Okay, now I can see the waves a little bit more clear. Okay, so again, I mentioned that we have an A, B, C, and now we can label this 1, 2, this is a 3, 4, 5. Okay, and if I take a look at RSI, same thing, right? Wave 3 was the big flush on the 15-minute, on the 1 hour, yep, this was the big flush here. So that was a wave 3, 4, 5. Notice how I go from zooming out down to minuscule levels so I know what trade to take, guys. Okay, you go from top, bottom, or highest time frame, and then you start working your way in. Okay, now if I really want to get gritty, I could start looking at entry levels even more. right? I could start looking. Okay, so possibly this is like I mentioned, a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down. All right. So remember, guys, wave 4s typically like to retrace 236 to the 382, right? So we're going to take wave 2, project it down. So we could retrace back to 388 or 400 area before coming down. All right, before coming down. So if that's the case, I'm going to basically just wait, right? You're waiting for this move. Now you sort of have an idea of the wave pattern. Now you know what's going to happen. Now you know that this area is going to be extremely difficult for the bulls to break. It needs to break this level, or else we're going to probably finish one more wave down to the 5th. Okay, just like I mentioned, right? We only have on the 1 hour time frame a wave 3, right? Wave 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3, 4, 5. So notice how I'm manipulating the time frames, guys, right? I'm checking each time frame, making sure everything is confluent. My evidence backs up what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So again, what do typical wave 4s look like? It doesn't retrace deep compared to wave 2s. All right. And we could be having a 5 waves, right? We could have A, B, C, D, E, something like this, a flag. Remember the flags, guys, on wave 4s. But this time, because it's on a downtrend, right, it's going to appear like this on wave 4s, and then wave 5 coming down. Okay. So I'm using different time frames, guys, to understand what's going to happen, to understand the overall picture, drilling it down to get perfect entry points. Okay. So I want to look back a little bit, and I want to see where potential entry points could be, because I believe that this is going to be the flow, something like this overall. So I'm going to take my I'm going to take my extension levels. I know that it can land anywhere, right, at the 618, 382, here, or here. Okay, these are the buy zones, right? So what makes the most sense? So I'm trying to build a case, right? I'm going to look to the left. You see the tops here? These are pretty good tops here for support. So a buy, if I believe that one wave is going down, I believe that that 364 would be the buy here. Right? I'm going to buy at 364, this green box. Okay. If I take a look at the 347, it could go down as low as here, right? It could go down as low as here, but you know, yeah, it could, because there's pretty good support. You see here on the left, guys, these little, all these sort of candles here. You see that? All these little ones here. This is good support as well. But this is another buy area. Okay, so if I'm going to take this trade, I might buy in the green box and then put a stop loss under that 618 level. Okay, something like this. And then remember how I mentioned that if we take a look of this structure, this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, now wave 5. We're going to take the length of wave 1, taking the length of wave 1, and we're applying that to wave 4. So if we're going to buy it at the 382, wave 5 is going to end here at 560, guys. That is what's going to happen. Theoretically, right? Theoretically, anything could happen, guys, right? But I'm saying theoretically, now you have a game plan. You're using every single time frame to formulate your trade, to formulate what's going to happen, right? So that's basically it, guys. That is how you manipulate time frames to your advantage every single time. You use the higher time frames to tell your story, to get your ideas going, and then drill down, drill down, drill down. Okay. Okay. Basically, yeah. All right. Makes sense. So I'm just checking RSI, if there's any nuances that I want to see. Okay, but nothing really tells a story. So for this one, because the RSI doesn't really tell a story, I'm using Elliott wave. I'm using the wave counts. I'm using extension levels. I'm using support zones here to all tell a story on what I believe is going to happen, right? A, B, possibly C down here. All right, awesome. I will see you guys on the next training video. Thanks.